Roll titles.
What? An astronaut.
Why?
Filmclub.
Yay!
Go, Gabby, go to Hollywood!
Super Show!
Hi, I'm Molly,
And I'm Ben.
and welcome to today's Film Club Live. Coming up on today's show, we'll be talking to Mike Valentine and finding out how he became an underwater cameraman. We'll be looking behind the scenes at films such as Skyfall, The Bourne Supremacy, as well as The Beach. And we'll be asking Mike how he films those all-important underwater shots that look so real on the big screen. Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today, and we're very excited to have someone who's normally behind the camera rather than in front of it. It's underwater cameraman Mike Valentine.
Yes.
So firstly Mike, it's lovely to have you here.
Thank
How
you.
did you become an underwater cameraman? Where did it all begin?
I think it began for me in 1977, and I was very lucky. Went on holiday to the Seychelles, went diving just for a little bit of a hobby trip. Came out the water, I was like, oh my God, you got an idea? The fishes, the corals, the beauty. And at that moment, I thought I wanted to share that experience with as many people as possible. So I became an underwater cameraman.
Wow.
Yeah, not a bad place to start, Seychelles. Could have been a lot worse. Another question for you is, what specific skills do you need for your role?
I think that the obvious one, you have to be a good diver, and actually you have to be a very good communicator, because you have to motivate the whole crew, and you've got to be aware of the safety problems. I might win an award for my work, but the actor could lose their life. So all of us have the responsibility of thinking about the safety of any scene that we shoot underwater.
Wow, that must be really important actually. And I think that we've got a clapperboard down here.
Yes?
From The Beach, which you must have worked on with one of my all-time favourite directors, Danny Boyle.
There you go.
Tell us a little bit about that. It must have been incredible.
Well, it was a fantastic experience because obviously working out in Thailand for 2 months was a terrible experience. All the suntan cream, it used to get all very itchy. I know it was a fantastic thing. But you know what? We talk about the clapperboard. The main job is to show the editor the numbers and who's involved with that scene. But you imagine you're about to do a really difficult scene, you could be dying as far as the scene is concerned, and just before we start filming, somebody's job is to come in right in front of your face and go, 157, take 2, and you're like, so that's another job that actors and actresses have to put up with, is the clapperboard going in. The reason we put those down is so they can synchronise the sound at the exact point with the camera's pictures so that they're in perfect sync. And
So
that's what it does.
It's quite important then, really.
Yeah.
So after you've heard a director's vision for a scene, how do you go about bringing it to reality?
Well, again, I have to think very carefully about the safety. If we've got, say, Eva Green stuck inside a lift for one of the James Bond films, you find that there she is inside the lift. The director doesn't care if she's going to live or die. You know, obviously he wants her to act properly, but we all have to be very careful for her safety because you're working in a very small space. In real life, on Casino Royale, Eva Green was scared of the water and claustrophobic. Perfect. Let's put her underwater, 20 feet down inside this little box. Perfect. She wasn't acting, she really was drowning down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've heard about some of your work there. You've told us about it. Let's see it. Let's see some remarkable underwater scenes.
So we saw some amazing shots there, but which underwater scene are you most proud of and why?
I think it is the scene in Casino Royale where our star, Eva Green, is trapped inside the lift and Daniel Craig as James Bond is trapped behind these big bars and can't reach her to try and help her and save her. And poor old Eva, you know, it was a very difficult scene to actually act as if you're drowning underwater. Because if she's a really good actress and we think she's drowning, supposing she starts to drown, how do we know the difference of her acting and really doing it? We had a special sign. She would do that if she was getting into trouble. That was a fantastic scene to work on, and it was a James Bond film, so it was really great.
Pretty cool and iconic as well. I think we can all remember that scene. Very, very powerful indeed.
Yeah, it must have been an amazing experience. So, but what other crew are involved when you film your scenes underwater?
Well, you know, it's like talking, even on this programme, there are many people behind the scenes working on it to try and make it all look great. If you ever go to the cinema and see all the names at the end of the film, all of those people have to work on the film. With us, we're very specialised in working underwater, but we have maybe up to 20 people. You've got electricians, you've got stunt people, you've got special effects, you've got myself with a camera, makeup, wardrobe, hair. The list seems to go on forever. And that's the thing about a film. You might have 20 or 30 people working so that everything works perfectly at that one moment when you say action.
Action. Brilliant. Yeah, that is ideal for sure. You've spoken about some fantastic teamwork and research, and we want to see that play out now with some behind-the-scenes footage from Skyfall.
Let's have your masks off when you're ready. Thank you.
165 Aston, take 3. Hey, camera.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and action.
It's quite a huge sequence with so many moving parts and so many elements, and this is just one beat of the action. That being said, Daniel's pretty game for anything.
He was in the water a lot yesterday. Not only has he got to concentrate on the fight, he's got to concentrate on the acting as well. And it is tiring because you're moving a lot more than you think you are. You know, just lifting your arm, there's more weight on it because you're underwater and all that. So, you know, he probably had a really good night's sleep.
And cut, and we've cut.
When shooting underwater, make it look exciting, dangerous and real, and the audience, hopefully, will buy it. My responsibility as the director of photography, the underwater DP, is to light and shoot the scene. Well, I can't do that by myself. So first of all, I send a picture to the surface so the director and everybody up here, makeup, wardrobe, hair, everyone, can see what we're actually doing. Once we put the actors underwater, they need to ideally hear from the surface what they're supposed to do.
Mike, can you get underneath Daniel's knee looking up this time?
So Francoise talks to the actors underwater on behalf of the director through very high quality underwater loudspeakers.
Very nice, guys. Let's reset for one more, please.
Once we've shot something, I've got an underwater monitor and I can show the actor underwater afterwards the scene. The director can modify their performance as well. That was great, Daniel. Could you look up a little bit more to the left next time? So that saves everyone coming up, going back down, coming up, going back down. And that's the secret of working here. Preparation and planning. But most important is safety.
Dave, out of the way, please. Thank you. Okay, you're clear. 3, 2, 1, action!
So we just saw how you communicate with your actors underwater. How would you go about lighting a scene like that?
Well, you know, it's really interesting. In the scene, there's a house on fire, and we actually have to simulate the fire coming down through the water. And I've actually got a photograph here, and this shows you the actual surface of the water covered in ice. It's actually fiberglass and wax. That's the hole through which Danielle and the villains fall. And up here are all my underwater lights, but they're used out of the water for safety in this part of the scene, and they all flicker with a computer to simulate the flames of the fire from a house, all going down through the water. And that's how we did it.
That's amazing, all that work for a little scene.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
But well worth it in the
yeah.
end. Yeah, definitely. Right, well, similar to that, you know, it looks only about 10 seconds, 15 seconds on the screen, but it's actually remarkable. This is a clip from The Bourne Supremacy. Now, it doesn't take part in a lake. It actually took part in a massive, massive water tank. Here's some of Mike's very own behind-the-scene footage.
We're doing a shot where the car was to come off a bridge in Goa, crashed 10 metres down into the water with Matt Damon and the star inside sinking. And you can see the snow in Enfield in North London. We work in all the nice places. And here you can see that the grips have really strapped the camera inside the truck, because obviously the huge force that the truck will hit the water with would cause the camera to move or even crash through the window. Here we go! 3, 2, 1, action! And now we can actually see that shot from the camera's point of view. Look at the force of the water hitting the glass. Bang! Let's watch that again in slow motion. Well, let's go underwater. Muddy water. Bang! In it comes towards us. And what I've done is I've added some brown gunge to the water to make it look more like the river in Goa. Now we have Matt and Franca, and I'm going to twist the camera there to give the impression that it actually lands on the river bed. We've taken away the front of the engine so I can get the camera very close, and I can then easily track round and see Matt struggling away with the door. This is a little cutaway, having a look at him trying to release her seatbelt. Obviously he can't.
So that looks like a pretty dangerous stunt. Are there any scenes that you've been asked to do that haven't been possible because they're just too dangerous?
Yes, sometimes when the writer is writing the script, the only thing apart from the budget is their imagination that controls the scene. But sometimes you have to say, look, you can't really have James Bond stuck inside a submarine which goes 2 miles underwater and explodes, and they wouldn't be able to swim to the surface to escape. And so my responsibility is to say, actually, it's not quite right to do that technically, but to come up with an idea of things that do work. I mean, that was the great thing about Skyfall. They fall through the water down to about 20 feet with ice above their heads. And that's a nice thing, isn't it? If somebody gets shot, the audience go, oh, they're shot. But if somebody in a scene gets cut by a knife, we've all been cut by a knife, so you go like, that's got to hurt. So by having the ice in that scene, you know that's going to be very cold and miserable down there. And that's the secret of actually not just underwater filming, but any filming, is to draw the audience in and make them feel as if they're actually there. And that's the secret which we hopefully can solve.
It's quite a job.
Yeah, we certainly achieve it in Skyfall. Obviously,
Thank you.
An enormously successful film, and our Film Club members absolutely love it. Now, talking of Skyfall, so you might hint to this, but I want some inside knowledge. Which actor, actresses really relish the chance to get involved in underwater scenes?
Well, actually, it's a slightly older actor now, a guy called Harrison Ford. I was lucky enough to work with him on Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And obviously I worked on Star Wars Episode 1, which Harrison had been in the original Star Wars film. He is fantastic. What a nice guy. If we had a huge fire engine scene with all the water coming through the roof in this house, it's all sort of filling full of water, Harrison wouldn't be like, oh no, I'm getting wet, please, where's my trailer? He'd be wanting to know, how do the pumps work? Can he hold the hose pipe on something? He's such a nice guy. Most people in the film business are very good because it's all about teamwork at the end of the day. But Harrison in particular stands out as being a great guy.
And that also links nicely to a skull. It's not there for no reason.
No, absolutely.
So what's that
What do you
from?
think of the show so far? Rubbish. This is a skull from a film that we did with Harrison, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. We go down into the catacombs, and the skull was used to represent one of the dead bodies that was all around this huge pit of horrible water. We also had 400 rats, which when we started filming them were too pale in colour. So how do you make the rats darker without hurting them? And we sprayed them with darker chocolate.
Of course.
Which is, well, it's so obvious. And all the rats on action look evil. There's Steven Spielberg. Okay, rats, look evil. All they did was like, oh my God, chocolate. And we just licked each other. We're just like, oh no,
Brilliant.
What do we do now?
So a little bit different from Indiana Jones. It's nearly Christmas and we have a Christmas review competition running. Have you ever worked on a Christmas film?
Oh, you've got me in cold blood. Of all the movies, we've worked now on about 82 feature films, but never a Christmas movie, which is, I would love to one day, but my favourite Christmas movie is Polar Express.
Yeah,
A
stunning
very
animation.
good choice.
Mr.
yeah.
Hanks there doing a great job as usual.
So now then, if you love review writing and Christmas, then we have the perfect competition for you.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love said to me, a partridge in a pear tree. On the second day of Christmas, my true love said to me, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. 9 lords are leaping, 8 maids are milking, 7 swans are swimming, 6 geese are laying, 5 gold rings. 4 calling birds, 6 French hens, 2 turtles. Hello. Sorry, I'm just a little bit excited about a competition I read about on the Film Club website. Now, all you need to do is go onto the website www.filmclub.org and review any of the wonderful films about Christmas there are on the site. Now, you need to start your review with the word Christmas and get your entries in by the 31st of December 2013. So plenty of time to get writing out there. I think I might start my one soon as well. Don't worry, I'll take these presents out to the sleigh as soon as I've finished my review of The Grinch. Merry Christmas.
So good luck to everyone entering that. I know I'll definitely be entering. And finally, Mike, do you have any advice on how young people like me could get into the field?
Yes, I think I do actually. Because a lot of people have said to me, oh, how do you get into the movies, or what's it like to work there? The single most important thing you need, passion. You've got to want to get up every morning. It doesn't matter how many people are in front of you for that job. You've just got to try. And even now, after being in the business, wow, over 40 years, I still wake up and go, I'm so excited to go to work, because it really is an unbelievable business we work in. Lots of people want to do it. Don't give up. You can make it. You've just got to be passionate about what you do.
Wow. That was inspirational.
Very inspirational.
We can do this. We can do this. What a great note to finish on. Thank you so much for coming in, Mike. It's been brilliant. We've got a really, really good appreciation now of your role and some of the fantastic work you've been involved in. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Okay, so I think we'll be looking a lot closer at the underwater scenes now.
Yeah.
So thank you, Mike. And I hope that you will all join us again tomorrow for another Film Club Live. Until then, bye.
Goodbye. Bye. Hey, goodbye.